Groundhog Day.
Really
Super Bowl.
It really is.
7th Super Bowl for the Patriots. And this new regime, I always have to clarify that now because it's actually...
Because you didn't watch the Patriots.
It's actually Patriot knucklehead fans who come out and say, oh, we're 9, 85 Bears, and then when we lost to the Packers. I'm talking about the regime. I'm talking Belichick, Brady, this particular regime being the greatest sports dynasty of all time. It was a blowout. Patriots won easy. Falcons won easy. So, interesting game for the Super Bowl. Listen, I watched the game. It was methodical. It was never in doubt. I don't think there's any way the Patriots lose to the Falcons. I close my eyes, try to imagine it. I try to think, how can the Falcons beat the Patriots? I don't think there is a chance. I don't know what's going to happen. The Falcons, if they weren't, this is going to sound weird. If the Falcons weren't the Falcons,
like if you said that's the biggest problem. The biggest problem with this team is that they're the Atlanta Falcons.
Right. Agreed. So, having said that, they're a good team, and it almost in a weird way reminds me of the Arizona Cardinals who lost to the Steelers, and it's the Steelers are a franchise.
You're not going to beat.
Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald had a huge game, and they were very good and maybe better. I don't know what happens here, but I know the Patriots are going to win, and I'm going to get my revenge on Roger Goodell with a crowd of Patriot fans, which, to be honest, the more I think about it, I don't know how I'm not part of that vendetta, that mob scene of people trying to just assassinate Roger Goodell. I mean, what can you say? Both games stunk.
Yeah, it was
absolutely
bad. It was not enjoyable to watch.
And this whole season seems like a foregone conclusion for the Patriots to win the Super Bowl.
Every year is, I mean, especially as a Patriots hater, it's every year I just assume it's going to happen, and when it doesn't, that's the surprise. That's where it's at.
I agree with the name of the Atlanta Falcons. It's kind of like the Tampa Bay Rays. You just can't ever, you know what I mean?
And the city.
Or the
Atlanta's
Diamondbacks.
That's the worst
The
sports
Diamondbacks have won a World Series, but you're still like the Diamondbacks.
Right.
The Falcons, though, they are a very exciting team. That offense is like a video game. I know you're not worried at all, Dave. I know you're going to say anytime I try to say, well, you know, this team actually has some talent. They do have talent. Their defense has come on real. I mean, they shut out Aaron Rodgers in the first half. Mm-hmm. That was legit. You don't just do that like by accident. And Matt Ryan is playing out of his mind. Julio Jones is going to be the best player on the field, in my mind.
Yeah, but you know what the problem is? It's like
better than Tom Brady.
At their current states, yes.
The problem, though, is that the Patriots will just have someone step up and play like Julio Jones. Like Chris fucking Hogan.
Right.
It's just like it doesn't matter who the stars are.
Right.
The Patriots always just fucking do it anyway.
Right.
I just got to do a call back here to what you just... Tom Brady's playing as well as he's ever played. And he's like arguably the best player of all time.
Julio Jones is making plays and running like a wild... Like, the plays he makes, I don't know how anyone could ever guard him. I'm just saying, I mean, that's one man's opinion. I know you're obviously on Patriot mode right now.
I feel like the last week it was Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady, and then like Rodgers gets shuts out, and we just forget we had that conversation. Julio Jones is a great player, but Brady is playing as well as he's ever played. He's the best player of all time.
Anytime Tom Brady steps on the football field, he's the most influential player in that game, no matter who he's facing up against.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably fair. I just Julio Jones is. I haven't seen the stuff Julio Jones is doing is like.
I also like to say Belichick.
That's the difference. Brady. It's probably because Brady's been doing it for so long, and it's the same Brady. Julio Jones is doing shit. I'm like, holy fuck, how's this guy?
I agree, he's a great player, but there's also if we're actually doing X's and O's, which is I know people are like, oh, I'm not really thinking about that. I'm thinking about just. I'm so convinced the Patriots are going to win this game. I can't imagine a scenario they don't because it's the Atlanta Falcons. But X's and O's wise. We will take Julio Jones out of the game. Like the Patriots take your best offensive player, and somebody else is going to have to beat the Patriots.
Yeah, and the Falcons have other guys. They have a lot of. I mean, some of these guys. Coleman is like he's another guy who's been making plays that you're like, holy shit, this guy's a video game.
Quick shout out to the Stoolie who pulled the fire alarm on the Steelers, and then we got an email that they were talking about all day. We got the police report of him getting arrested.
That quote. I'm dumb, I'm drunk, and I'm a Pats fan.
And I love it. And to be honest, I think that's fair game. I think pulling fire alarms when you go on the road, we did in the Super Bowl. We guarded the Patriots' fire alarms because it got pulled twice. If you don't want your fire alarms pulled, get home field advantage. And by the way, don't let people find out where you're staying. So shout out to that guy, tip of the cap. He did get arrested. I don't know what's going to happen, but they should send him to the Super Bowl. So good job by him. I don't know if you guys feel that way or not, but I want to give him a shine since they sent us the police report. Moving on, away from the Super Bowl, and there'll be a lot of Patriot talk. By the way, the Falcons have no fans. I did this on the Sirius show. Even the fans were like, any Falcons fans call in. They didn't even call him. We had the number one Falcon Atlanta radio show host, Brian Finneran. We had him calling. He was so boring. It's like this is he couldn't even get excited. If I was saying these things that people were saying Atlanta, I'm like, it's the worst city. No fans. They only have strip clubs. It's a franchise nobody cares about. I'm like, yeah, you may be right. It's just, I mean, that's who we're dealing with.